Today you're gonna see the most wildest keyboard that I've ever had in this studio. All right, check this out. These are Turtle Beach. Now both of these comes together. If you're a fan of 10 keyless, which is what I am, you get this package right here. But if you decided, hey, you know what, I need to play Final Fantasy 11, which requires one of these numpad, you get this add-on right here, and voila, it gives you a full-size keyboard. Anyway guys, we're gonna unbox this thing because I cannot wait to check out this little LED screen right here along with the keyboard. One of the most wildest thing that I've seen so far. Let's get right into it. Obviously, first thing first, let's go ahead and check out this little command center right here. This is called a command series, by the way, from Turtle Beach. The model number is KB7, in case I forget to put that in the descriptions. So what does this thing have? It has a touch display, obviously. It has a adjustable key actuation. Now, that's something that I've only seen in Steel Series. And now Turtle Beach has this in their keyboard. True 8K polling rate. I'm not even sure what that means yet. Rapid fire trigger performance. So essentially it's saying that, hey, you want a gaming keyboard, this is it for you. But now this is souped up. Voila. Nicely packaged, to be honest. It's pretty cool. Got a little nice bag for you. Wow. Okay, they did not have to put a little bronze accent right over here. That looks sick. Yo, yeah, that looks awesome. Let's go ahead and remove this little plastic. Wow, I love the look of this knob right here. Doubles as a play and pause button, and the next and previous track is right here. Since this is a knob to do the volume, you don't need any other buttons to do volumes. There are some different custom keys right here, which I'll get into. Look at this low profile keycaps though. She is a beauty. Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, so the one thing I do have to mention is that if you take a look at this right here, there's some connections on this side, but also on the left-hand side as well. So literally you can attach the keypad to either side, the left or the right-hand side. The bottom got a 2-level kickstand and a beautiful, beautiful backing. The keyboard is pretty weighted, not the heaviest keyboard that I've seen out there. But yeah, this thing is beautiful, it's so premium. Look at even the logo, got that nice bronze look to it. Wrist rest. Oh, what is this? This thing is soft. Definitely one of a kind. I have not seen something like this for a wrist rest. You got the little ridge. That's what makes it flexible there. Candy. Extra low profile keycaps. That's literally unmarked, by the way. Keycap puller too. Interesting little dual USB wire here. And then USB-C to USB-C cord. Alright, let's put all this together and see how that works. But first, we want to take a look at the gaming keypad. Based on this picture back here, the gaming keypad do come with its own soft silicone palm rest as well. And here it is. That's just wild. The numpad has a palm rest as well. In this side of the box here, you got USB-A to USB-C, but obviously earlier you saw you can actually replace it probably with Yeah, and that is it, guys. Let's take a look at the numpad real quick. Oh, this thing looks beautiful, just like the other ones. So notice that it has a connection on the left and on the right. Just like earlier I was telling you, you can connect left or the right on the keyboard. Look at this low profile switch right here, super thin. These switches are a Hall effect, by the way. Alright, interestingly, this has a knob right over here, and then also a trigger button right here as well. Not gonna lie, this is kind of cool. So it looks like if you want to use this as your WASD, you can, because the way they have it set up is that you can do this and your thumb is right here for the spacebar button. Does have the Alt button right here as well, by the way. There are some macro buttons on the side here, so this is full featured numpad, by the way. Alright, so one thing I do have to take notice is that this numpad, if I were to attach this on the right hand side, see how that's squared off and there's a little rounded corner here. Now if you were to connect it, by the way, there's no switch or anything like that for you to just pull this thing out. You just pull it directly out. Now if you were to connect it on this side here, like so, this is what it will look like. This is wild. So no longer do I use the WASD. I can use it over here on this side. Yeah, so the way they designed this is that it can be on this side, and if you look at the keys, this is the shift key right here, just like the shift key on this side. You got your control, you still got your Alt key, obviously up, down, left, right, but then also your tab keys right here as well. So you can literally use this instead of this area over here. This is very interesting right here. This numpad on this side actually feels pretty good. I didn't think I would like it that much because you see my pinky right here? It's actually hitting the shift key just right, just like if it was over here on this side. That's one thing I was worried about. I was wondering why they moved the AWS key over here to this section instead of move one over to number 8. But they moved it further to the right hand side, move over to the 9, so that my pinky can hit the shift button. I'm not gonna lie, this feels good. The thumb do have to like curve in a little bit because over here my thumb kind of comes out and I can hit the spacebar anytime. You're gonna have to curve it in just a little bit, so that's gonna have to change a bit right there. Anyway, I think I'm getting way too technical into this, but this is really interesting to me. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. Let's take a look at this whole thing. All right, folks, so I'm here at my desk with the brand new keyboard. So let me just cheat a little bit, okay? I have my keyboard over here. This is actually another workstation that I have, but this is where the keyboard is connected to. I just run the wire all the way over there so I can show you guys what it's like, all right? And at the same time, let you see the screen as well. First thing first, the numpad on this side actually works out pretty well. I have to say, I did not expect that at all. So with this numpad, let me see if I can stand this up and show you. The way it works is that when you press this button right over here, it changes to the numpad or the AWSD. So yeah, I can literally right now use AWSD right here and it'll type it on there as well. So you just swap it. It's pretty cool on that one. Now, if I press this one back, then it turns back into the numpad. Ergonomically, I think it's pretty good. if you have small hands or small fingers. If you have fat hands, I'm sorry about that, but the entire thing just kind of sits right on your, yeah, so see, I'm actually like dropping it right here. Yeah, so the entire thing sits on your hands really, really well, including your thumb. Where your thumb is, you can actually turn this knob right here. Okay, so the second thing that I really like about this keyboard, and probably one of the best features that I actually have not seen in any of other keyboards, is no, it's not this screen right here. It's actually the way this palm rest is designed right here. Isn't that cool? Where the light is actually inside of the keyboard. And when you stick this translucent palm rest into the keyboard, the light just kind of stream out of the material. Cool idea and concept, because this material is actually pretty nice on your palm, FYI. It's pretty nice. I thought this one is well thought out, well thought out. The other thing is, I played a few Overwatch games with this, and wow, I love the tactile on this. It feels really nice. It's buttery smooth, and it's quiet. It's super duper quiet. So let's talk about the screen really quickly here. You can customize the screen on the Swarm 2 software, and we'll get to that in a second. But I do want to say that don't expect this to be like your iPhone, where you can just grab this and just like swipe. That's not how it works. You got to go to the corner or this corner and swipe. If you do that, if you go to the corners or on the edge and you swipe in, then it works really, really well, seamlessly. I had no problem with that at all. Don't expect you to just touch the middle or the screen and just start swiping. It doesn't work most of the time. So here's the thing. With the screen, if you touch one of the button and you just do really quickly, sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't register very well. Okay, so if I were to do that, it doesn't register. So that's why you gotta go from the edge on over. Now, let's say you have a screen like this that has nothing up on the top here. I can actually grab that and move it just fine. So as long as the button overlay is not there, then yeah, absolutely, you can actually swipe just fine on this one. Now, the other thing about this screen and the UI is that something that you probably don't realize, all the controls for the lights is actually on the screen right here. So it makes it super easy for you to control the RGB and how you want your lights, instead of going straight into the software on the computer in order to change it like most other keyboard, right? Here, everything is locally. So you can swap out all the RGB and how bright it is and so on and so forth. Anyway, there's tons of options in here without you having to open up the Swarm app at all. Now let's talk about the Swarm app, okay? Now the Swarm app does need a little work, and I've experienced this not just with this keyboard, so I know it's the actual software itself. It's not the hardware at all. I've experienced this with my headset and mouse and things like that. The Swarm app, when you first plug it in, it really tries to update the firmware on the device that you have, and it can freeze on you. And that's a big one right there. I did spend like 30 minutes to an hour to try to get it back up and running. Okay, so FYI on that one, you may run into a little issue, and it's all because of the software. It's not the hardware at all. At first I thought it was the hardware, but it wasn't. All right, so how is my experience so far after using this thing for the past week? Hardware is amazing. It's one of the smoothest keyboard that I've ever used. And I'm not just talking about because, you know, it has this gimmicky panel here, or, you know, this gimmicky screen here at all. I'm talking about the actual switch, the low profile keys. I actually do like it a lot. I prefer this keyboard now over any other keyboard that I have playing video games, okay? My only problem is that the Swarm app, you will have to reboot it whenever you start up your computer, because it doesn't recognize this keyboard at all. As of this video, it doesn't. And so I would have to reboot the software just to get it to work. Other than that, the hardware, amazing. Amazing experience. I love it. The low profile key is amazing. The switch on this thing, buttery smooth. I mean, I'm playing this thing, and my wife couldn't even tell that I was playing video games. Okay, so that's a big one, because it's really, really quiet. There's tons of little options on here that I haven't really tried out yet, because the only game I've been playing with is Overwatch. By the way, they had a new character launch, so yeah, I've been all into it. But I haven't played around with all the feature on here yet, like the actuation point where you can adjust how quick the key responds depending on how much force you push into it. There's that going on. There's macros that I haven't even tried out. You can remap keys with just this panel right here. I mean, there's tons of that. Rapid trigger, I don't use that. I don't need that yet, right? But there's tons of little feature on here that I don't know if you're gonna be spending months playing around with this thing. Anyhow, this is a pretty full feature keyboard, and on top of that, I think this is the most advanced keyboard that I have seen so far.